Good morning, Highland Cavaliers. You're watching the only show that's more unpredictable than April weather, CavCast. I'm Alex, your host who forgot he signed up for this.
And I'm Joseph, your host who thought spring forward was what Freddy Fazbear does in the game Five Nights at Freddy Fazbear's. Welcome to a very special April Fool's edition of CavCast, where the news is real, but luckily Freddy Fazbear is not.
Sports! People running.
Excitement? This last week, our women's lacrosse team won a noble victory against Emmy and Henry, 18-2. Additionally, the absolute unit, that is UVA-Wise sophomore Patrick Shelley, was named Outdoor Athlete of the Week by the We Played Sports South Atlantic Conference. Go Cavaliers!
Let's dive into this week's bucket of fun, shall we? First up, we have the Gerrymandering Art Show, hosted by Dr. Heather Evans' Intro to Political Science class. It's happening on Tuesday at 2 p.m. in the Gillum Art Studio.
And it is there we will beg the question, what makes gerrymandering abstract art? Is it the squiggly lines or the inherent racial bias? After
you get politically inspired, you can learn how to save a life. The You Narcan Save a Life event is on Tuesday at 4 p.m. in the Rhododendron Room at Slemp Center.
Valuing human life and gerrymandering? Pretty sure those don't mix.
Next up, the Fulbright Info Session with Andrus Ashu, all the way from UVA, is happening on Wednesday at 1 p.m. in Smitty 165.
Fulbright? That's when you get so bright that they send you abroad to dim down a bit, right?
Absolutely, Joseph. On Friday at 6:30 p.m., let your voice be heard or just scream into the void at the April Open Mic Night at Lincoln Road Coffee in Norton.
Perfect for those who have always dreamed of performing their existential dread live.
I am evil Alex now. Early birds don't miss the day of service on Saturday at 8 a.m. in Greer Gym. It's like performing acts of villainy, but only good. Worms will be provided for all the birds. The early ones.
And for our night owls, the Richmond Ballet is gracing us with their presence on the same day at 7 p.m., location to be determined. Keep your ears, eyes, and bananas peeled to get wind of updates.
And don't forget, Cavaliers, to mark your calendars for Goodwill Day this Sunday. It's not just a day. It's a golden opportunity from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. to sprinkle some good vibes across various locations.
That's right. Goodwill of Geneva is rolling out the red carpet for all you kind-hearted souls willing to donate your time. You could earn between a whopping 1 or 8 hours of community service. Imagine that. Serving your community for a whole 8 hours.
But dear friends, time waits for no one. Volunteer spots are as limited as my patience for Joseph. You must register today by April 1st, and that's no fooling.
And let's face it, it's also a fantastic way to avoid studying for a few hours. Win-win.
All right, Joseph. Before you give any more questionable advice, let's wrap this up. Remember, Cavaliers, it's not just about the hours, it's about the impact, where we're all in a treasure hunt, and you're the treasure.
To wrap up this magical weekend, there will be an Appalachian Spring concert on April 7th at 2 p.m. in Cantrell Hall, because nothing says spring like Appalachia.
Do you hear that? It's the sound of your own thoughts. That's right, our Club of the Week. Drumroll, please. Philosophy Club, where the existential crises are plentiful and the answers are, well, philosophical.
Hi, my name's Taylor Banks, and I'm the president of the Philosophy Club.
What do you think the Philosophy Club offers students that most other things don't?
We give students an opportunity to debate an environment that's not just safe, but it's also encouraging and friendly.
What would you say differentiates the club just from a class?
It's a lot more casual, and it's a lot more open to general discussion. So if we wanted to go towards a new idea while also incorporating it from an old one, we would be able to do that. Whereas in a regular class, you may not be able to deviate from the original subject as much.
You have a box, and every single second, there's a 50-50 chance a nuclear bomb goes off, eviscerating you immediately with no chance of survival.
You can talk about whatever you want, you can express whatever ideas you want. It's a lot less pressure on each other and us as students because we don't have that sort of looming fear of saying the wrong thing in class.
My name's Gabriel. I like to randomly spout what I'm thinking, which is encouraged in the philosophy club because then more conversations come up.
What do you think of the philosophy club, and where do you see it going in the future?
It's a good way to find friends, but it's also a good way to organize thoughts with people that you can be comfortable around because everybody in the club's cool. In the future, I hope that it keeps growing because it seems like a very great place for people to just talk about subjects that are really relevant. It's also one of the great ways on campus that students get to express themselves.
How do you come up for the topics? What is your inspiration?
So we typically have a list at the beginning of the year, and then we would go through that list, and depending on what topics we saw were really receptive the previous week, we would choose that topic based on that. Or we would see a topic that we feel like really is relevant to current times and discussions, and we would apply that this week. We debate about silly things all the time, and it's really the greatest thing ever.
In ancient times, people thought that death was illusory. It marks the transition from one state to another, and you don't have to be afraid of it. In late antiquity, several philosophical schools asserted that there is no point in being afraid of death.
I would be insulted if my opinions weren't countered. I want something to make me think.
Yeah.
I don't want everyone to agree with me because that would be boring. It wouldn't, my brain would just die.
Do you think the universe was created or has existed forever? And just see, because I'm super curious.
Do you see yourself coming to future meetings for the philosophy club?
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of the week is hearing just what we're talking about next. Because, the first one I went to, I've only been to two, and it's been great, was Bravery. That was really interesting. And then second, it's surprise, we're doing AI. And I was like, awesome, let's go.
I want to see more co-planned events with us and other clubs as well. We're actually planning on doing an Among Us themed event soon, and we would be going over things such as democracy and the morality of choosing based off of that democracy.
All right. Do you have any personal views you want to share about the philosophy club?
Come to it. You won't regret it. I promise. You really won't. You might think, oh, no one wants to hear what I have to say. They do. I promise.
It's encouraged.
Yes, very much.
Bye. See you soon. Subscribe to CavCast.
Follow Philosophy Club on Instagram.
And now for our special April Fool's joke of the day. Why don't we ever tell secrets on a farm?
I don't know, Joseph. Why?
Because the potatoes have corn, the ears have beans, and the eyes stalk.
That's our show, folks. Remember, in a world full of news, be the April Fool. See you next week, Cavaliers.